If you're looking for the ultimate American luxury SUV, the Cadillac Escalade quickly comes to mind. This nameplate has been around since 1999, and when the company first introduced the all-new 5th generation back in 2021, it really raised the bar in this ever-so-competitive segment. Now for 2025, Cadillac is giving the Escalade its first significant overhaul, and today we're actually out here at Atlanta Motorsports Park because we've finally been able to get our hands on the most performance-oriented version, a 2025 Escalade V. It has that supercharged engine under the hood, and as you can see, it has a brand new front fascia on the outside, a redesigned interior with a massive 55-inch display. So now that we're seeing the all-new Escalade V in person, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look. So when Cadillac finally gave the V treatment to the Escalade a couple years ago, a lot of enthusiasts were just so happy that Cadillac finally had the balls to actually put the supercharged engine under the hood. So before we start talking about the exterior styling changes, I want to remind you guys what's powering this vehicle. Now, as you can see, this engine is known as the Blackwing engine. So it's basically a variation of the motor that we also see in this Cadillac CT5V Blackwing. And as you can also see, the engine is hand assembled at their performance build center. So it's a unique engine, a bespoke engine. It's a 6.2 liter direct injection pushrod V8 with a big, massive Eaton supercharger at the top. This engine in the Escalade V continues to make 682 horsepower and 653 pound-feet of torque. That's because it also has a supercharger that's kind of throwing in around 10 pounds of boost pressure. It is a larger supercharger versus the supercharger that's in the CT5V Blackwing. It all goes out through a 10-speed automatic, and a full-time all-wheel drive system is putting the power down for this vehicle. Now, Cadillac wasn't ready to talk about the final fuel economy ratings of the updated version, but going with the 2024 model, which we recently just tested this year, that's rated at 11 in the city and 16 on the highway, about 13 combined. It has around a 24-gallon fuel tank, so around 300-ish miles of range on premium gas. So yes, she's a thirsty beast. Now, performance, Cadillac says this model should get to 60 in 4.4 seconds. It has a top speed of around 125 miles an hour, and this vehicle is the ESV, but it can still tow a maximum of 7,000 pounds, and it also lugs around 6,400 pounds of curb weight. So obviously this is a big, heavy beast, but it is also still incredibly potent, and it should be, considering it has almost 700 horsepower underneath the hood. But underneath the hood, things haven't really changed, but let's go ahead and talk about the exterior styling on the outside. Now, as you guys can see, the front end has been completely redone. If you guys have seen our review on the Cadillac Escalade IQ, which we're hoping to be able to eventually drive that model sometime early next year, it basically has that new corporate face. So you can see the Cadillac grille here is basically enlarged. There's an illuminated Cadillac wreathless crest at the front fascia here with a nicely integrated camera. The V comes with its own unique front fascia with this kind of larger air intake openings to allow air to feed into that engine. You can see the grille also has this new illuminated light bar, or not light bar, this light accent going around the Cadillac crest grille. And then the headlights, you can see these headlights, multiple stacked LED diodes, which again kind of reminds you a lot of the Escalade IQ. In fact, the headlights also have a welcome animation sequence dance that it basically does every time you approach the vehicle or if you lock and unlock the car. It certainly looks very premium. It looks, very distinctive, especially at night with all the LED lighting. You can see the V also includes a more aggressive front splitter at the front. This color is called Radiant Red Metallic. It looks fantastic, of course, with the black accents and the enlarged air intake openings. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys prefer the pre-refreshed Escalade V or if you like the way this updated version looks. Now, moving around the side profile, you can see this model is the ESV. So this is basically the ultimate family vehicle in the sense that it has all the performance, but it also has the extra space because at an overall length of 227 inches long, with a 130-ish long wheelbase, this thing is literally around 15 inches longer versus the standard wheelbase model. Now, of course, that's going to give you all that additional space in the trunk and additionally in the third row as well. You can see, looking at the wheels, Cadillac did update the wheels for 2025. These are a 24, that's right, a massive 24-inch wheel for 2025. It's around 2 inches larger versus the 22s that was on the pre-refresh model. It's also riding on a slightly fatter 285 by 40 R24-inch wheel. Now, sadly, we'll have to wait until we actually can get this vehicle on the road another time, but I imagine this is going to start to affect the ride quality. The Vs all have upgraded 6-piston Brembo brakes with red painted calipers. The rotors are massive. I believe they're just under 16 inches in diameter. The tires are around 10 millimeters wider, and you also have adaptive dampers on this vehicle. So again, it's going to give you that improvement in terms of handling and improvement in terms of grip. Now, side mirrors, as you can see, massive. They have integrated turn signals and cameras. There's full 360 cameras and Super Cruise basically on this vehicle. You also have lots of black accents along the side, which I really think looks great with the radiant red. You have a big panoramic sunroof. There's also a nicely integrated low profile roof rail at the top of the vehicle that's also painted black. And then if you follow me over to the back here, you can see this is the biggest difference with the ESV version is you get that extra 15 inches in length back here to improve the cargo capacity. Now looking at the back, you can see the taillights have been slightly refreshed, although I'm having trouble seeing the differences. It looks like the light signature has been updated slightly. You can see there's the full LED taillights. No sequential turn signals, however, but you can also see there's some minimalistic in terms of badging. There's a slight V badge here. Remember, this is not a Blackwing, it's just a V, but it does have the Blackwing engine. And then you can see on the rear bumper, things look pretty much the same as the pre-refresh model. You still have that signature quad outlet rectangular exhaust system, and this thing just sounds mean and nasty. So let's go ahead and, Rob gave me the camera, he's gonna hop in and he's gonna start the vehicle up, because one of the signatures about this car is when it starts up, it literally will wake up your neighbors every time. That is literally music to my ears, and I can actually smell the burning combustion of that engine. So God bless America. This is definitely something that we're going to be missing in the next few years whenever Cadillac decides to discontinue this motor. Now the rear cargo area, you can still lift up this glass if you'd like, or if you just push in that logo there, you can see that opens up the cargo area. And there is a generous amount of space here, especially if you guys go for the ESV version. Now compared to the standard wheelbase model, this has around 42 cubic feet, of cargo space. That's around almost 20, around 18 cubic feet more versus the non-ESV. You can see there's just a ton of space in here to put, all of your luggage and suitcases for a person who's trying to carry around up to 6 or 7 people. There's also a nice little underfloor storage area here if you want to hide a few things. There's also the AKG audio system, which I believe has like 30 plus speakers, if I remember correctly. And then if you want, you can actually fold down the third row seat. When you fold that down, it expands the cargo to around 94 cubic feet of space. Again, that's almost 20 more versus the non-ESV version. If you want to push this button here, you can see that folds down the second row as well. And if you fold down everything, Cadillac says the ESV gives you a maximum of 142 cubic feet. That's right, 142 cubic feet is pretty much on par with most minivans. So again, if you're looking for the ultimate family vehicle that can haul cargo and haul ass, you want to definitely put the new ESV version at the top of your list. So Cadillac made some pretty noticeable changes to the exterior of the Escalade for 2025, but the inside, this is where the company really spent a lot of money, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Before we get inside, let me show you guys some new features. Now, Cadillac calls this feature power doors. Now it is, this model that I'm showing you is a very early pre-production car. These power doors should be available on most of the upper trims of the Escalade. Basically, once you open up this, or once you push this little pressure pad on this fixed door handle, the door itself will basically just kind of open up for you automatically. Now again, it works most of the time. It seems to want to work only when I am not filming, which is also kind of the way it always is. But once you get inside, you can see this particular test car that I'm showing you has the sheer gray two-tone interior. So this is a premium leather material. It's like a premium Napa leather with the diamond quilted stitching. These seats adjust in, I don't even know, like 18 different ways. They are heated, ventilated, and massaging, which is a wonderful feature. And then you can see here's the key fob for the car. This is the Escalade V. So of course you have the V badge here. It's also painted the same red tint coat on the outside. I don't know if that's specific to every color of the Escalade V, but it's a nice little touch. There's usual buttons here for lock, unlock, remote start. You can open up the glass and the lift gate and then activate the panic. And then Cadillac does offer their phone as a key function if you guys are an owner of the vehicle. Now, if you want to close the door, Cadillac says there are multiple options. First of all, you can basically just pull on this little handle here, and that should automatically close the door for you. You can also just put your foot on the brake, and that'll also close the door for you. And then when you start the vehicle up, you can hear the engine has that nice snarl. It's got that small block snarl. Or you can also go into this little screen over here where I can basically tap on that little thing. I can tap on doors, and you can see I can basically open the door by just using that little button over here. You can see it opens up the door. Now there are sensors to keep those doors from hitting things, and if I want to close it, just kind of slide this back, and that will also close the door for me. It also includes a soft close feature, obviously. Again, that is a really cool luxury touch that we've seen in vehicles like the new BMW 7 Series, a Genesis G90. I believe Mercedes also offers it on the latest S-Class as well. Now, guys, this interior, if you guys were impressed with the old Escalade interior, this has definitely been kicked up a few notches, and that's because, if you guys remember, the Lincoln Navigator and Nautilus, this car's main rival, the Navigator, has a 48-inch display. Cadillac basically saw that and they said, you know what, Lincoln, we're gonna give you a big middle finger, because this, what you're looking at here, is a 55-inch display. That's right, 55 inches, which is a nice increase, almost 20 inches larger versus the 38-inch display that we had in the pre-refreshed Escalade. You can see the screen is technically comprised of 3 different screens, it looks like. So this screen right here, going from this pillar to this pillar, it looks like it's one continuous display. There's a little break up here where there's a separate display here for the passenger screen, and I believe each of these displays is just under 15 inches. So you have almost a 15-inch screen here, 15-inch screen here, 15-inch screen here, and then you also have another screen over here. I don't know the size of this one. It also looks maybe like a 13-inch display. This is where you can basically control your heated and cooled seat functions, your heated steering wheel function. You can go into your massage seat. You can go into your headlight controls, which are now located in this screen as well. You can also go into back to the seat controls over there. You can go to your climate function, and then you can also pull up the controls here, and you can adjust the drive mode selector, your headlights, the power assist steps, your head-up display, go into the doors function. So this is a lot of controls that does take a little bit of getting used to, and it can feel a little bit overwhelming. Now, unlike some newer Cadillacs which are fully electric, or anything that's fully electric from GM, this system does include wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So my iPhone 16 Pro Max is sitting there in the wireless charger. Push that little button here, my phone is now wirelessly connected via CarPlay, which, as you can see, the CarPlay screen, it takes up a good amount of real estate here in the center. The software behind it is also relatively quick and snappy and responsive. Remember, this is a really early prototype that I'm showing you, so the software could have a couple of bugs in it on camera, but I have to say, guys, the way this looks is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I had a chance to spend a full week with the Nautilus, which has a 48-inch display. This is a little bit larger, but I also like how the positioning of the screens here kind of makes it easy to kind of scan at a glance. So you can see over here, I have my instrument panel, which shows me all my necessary information. The steering wheel, you can see it's a brand new steering wheel from the Escalade IQ. You have a power tilt and telescoping design. Obviously, there's a lot of touch-sensitive buttons over here, and you can see there's also a new switchgear for the turn signal and for the gear selector. You have paddles on the wheel to control the 10-speed auto. These are actually metal accented, which is nice. I don't love the piano black. As you can see, it shows a lot of fingerprints and smudges, which don't look great, but when the steering wheel is clean, it's certainly nice. You can see Super Cruise is also included. That's standard equipment on all versions of the V. And then in terms of the materials, you can see the door panels have also been redesigned. There's beautiful leather stitching here on the upper portion with contrast stitching. There's this gorgeous carbon fiber. I also like this kind of cloth that you find here on the door panel that kind of goes onto the dash as well. Nice padded leather over here. The window controls, they are one touch for all 4. They have a nice high quality tactile feel. There's power folding mirrors, of course. With a vehicle that's this wide, you're going to want features like that. And then you can see the door handle. This is where you pull that, and that's what opens and closes the vehicle for you. Again, it is the power and opening and closing feature. You can turn that off if you guys would rather have traditional door, door pulls. Now, looking at the rest of this dashboard here, you can see material quality is pretty impressive as well. The upper portion here is covered in a soft touch injection molded plastic. There's a nice heads-up display, and then you can see here more of that carbon fiber with the alloy trim. There's a big expansive vent, which looks like singular, just one continuous vent, but it's actually looks like 3 separate vents, which is nice. The gear selector is now located right here. So if I pull toward me, go up, you can see that puts the vehicle into reverse, which also allows you to take viewing of the full 360 camera, which offers different views, different guidelines. You can also do like a curb view. You can do a towing view. The quality and resolution looks good, but I'm surprised with this much screen real estate that it doesn't look a little bit larger. In fact, this area here looks like it's always kind of fixed into position where it shows your different information on your oil pressure, your oil temperature, your coolant temperature and stuff. So this is kind of part of the instrument panel here versus over here. You can see this is like reserved for infotainment usage. Now, in terms of the GPS function, you can see there's Google built in. So this has Google built in where it has voice commands. There's the Google GPS, which, as you can see, looks phenomenal. It also has really great voice commands. You can go back to the home screen here. These are where all your different sources are. You can also go into the Google Play Store and download your apps. There's also multicolor ambient lighting in this vehicle. In fact, Cadillac says the ambient lighting in this car, there's over 126 different colors. So it's kind of customizable to your heart's content. I'll have to wait until I get one back home to show you guys what the ambient lighting looks at night. The old pre-refresh model also offered ambient lighting. However, it was a little bit disappointing, so I'm curious to see how Cadillac has updated the system here for the new generation. Going back to the center console here, you can see this is a very wide center console with lots of, more of that carbon fiber aluminum trim. You can see this basically was pulled out of the Cadillac Lyric, where it kind of has like a little bit of an adjustable area there for the cup holders where you can easily fit a mug. This is also a great place to put your wallet. This screen over here, like I said earlier, allows you to access your heated and cooled seat functions, your massage seat function. If I want to activate the massage, basically go here, hit massage. You can see there's different types of massage, different types of intensity. You can also get massaging second row seats as part of an executive rear seat package. You can see over here, this is a nice padded center console area with lots of leather stitching. If I open this up, you can see there's also an available refrigerator. I think it's standard on the V version, but you can actually basically use this as a refrigerator or a freezer. So this is a great thing for road trips. You have 2 USB charging ports, an A and a C. So again, being the ultimate road trip car, there's lots of great features, obviously. Now over in the center console, I forgot to mention there's an additional storage area here. It's not a full pass-through, but it's nice that they gave you a little bit more additional storage. This screen over here is the passenger display, which, as you can see from the driver's side, I really can't see it because it has kind of like a tint to keep you from looking at this. But when you're looking over here, you can see it has streaming services like YouTube, like Hulu. You can even pull up a web browser, it looks like, and there's like a quick remote available if you scan the QR code. There's also headphones that you can install. You can also turn the screen on and off. So this, again, is kind of a gimmick, but a lot of these luxury brands are kind of going into a passenger display, and this is kind of where you have that additional wow factor. If you guys are an audiophile, you can see there's speakers in each of the headrests. I believe there's 36 total speakers from the AKG premium audio system. The seats themselves also have a really premium quilted diamond stitched leather. Their padding feels really cushy. So again, for a road trip car, it's got comfortable seats, it's got plenty of space, it's got incredible technology. So really, Cadillac has just significantly raised the bar here. Above me, you can also see, forgot to mention, there is a big panoramic sunroof, which also allows you to open it up completely, although it's only over the driver's side area or the front seat area. You can see there's a built-in wind deflector. When I open it up, it actually opens up completely over the 2 front seats. Only the 2 front seats, but it's nice that it lets in a lot of light. There's also a retractable shade. There's a suede Alcantara material back on the ceiling as well. But overall, I have to say the Escalade, the old one, already had a really nice interior, but the tech was starting to show its age a little bit. Now, as you can see with this new system, I'll have to wait until I get one back home for a week to test, but it certainly looks like the bar has been risen again, and it's in direct response, of course, to the new Lincoln Navigator, this car's main American rival. Now moving to the second and the third row, as you can see, the power doors also continue into the back doors of this vehicle. And as you can also see, this model comes standard with second row captain's chairs. That does limit the seating capacity to 7. All Escalade Vs only seat 7 because of the third row, as you guys know, also seats 3 across. And in terms of the space back here, it's pretty much the same compared to the pre-refresh model. Once I get back here, as you can see, if I can basically just kind of pull on that will close the door for me automatically, which is really nice. And Cadillac says there's around 41.5 inches of legroom here in the second row. 41.5 is a ton of space. You can see this is pretty much why I have the seat to drive. Tons of foot space. There's a completely flat floor here, so if there was a bench, there would be plenty of space as well. And then you can also see there are features here like heated rear seats. You have tri-zone automatic climate control. Push that button here, you can see it opens up some cup holder storage. You have USB charging ports, an actual 12 or 120 volt power outlet there, USB hookups, and that's because this model that we're showing you here also has the rear seat dual screen entertainment system. So these are 2 12.6 inch displays. It has streaming services built in like Hulu, like YouTube, for example. You can also hook up wireless headphones. So this is definitely a nice feature, along with having a web browser. If you guys don't want to get your kids an iPad, this is definitely something that you can also do. There's some rear seat air vents located here on the ceiling. There's LED map lighting here. There's also lots of speakers, more of that suede Alcantara. The sunroof, as you can see, only comes into the second row. There is no additional glass panel for the third row. And if you guys want an extra lavish second row, this is where this particular one that I'm showing you is missing it, but there's a new executive rear seat package. For an additional $7,500, it will basically upgrade the second row area here with massaging, heated and ventilated second row seats. You'll also have an 8-inch touchscreen here to control the functions of the rear seat. There'll be a center console area here. So I haven't had a chance to see that in person yet, but it definitely takes this vehicle to the next level. It'll basically turn it into like a limousine. So if you guys have a chauffeur, you're gonna really wanna check the box for that executive rear seat package. Now hopping into the third row, let's go ahead and show you guys what that space is like. Now getting back there, obviously you can kind of go through the center here, but if you pull on this little inner lever twice, So you basically pull it once and then you pull it again. That will allow the seat to kind of flip forward. Now that is a problem if you have a child seat latched into this seat, as you can see, but once you pull the seat up, I'm actually gonna notate that when you do that, the seat doesn't return back to its fullmost position. So to basically push it all the way back, grab that little lever there, and this is where, if you guys go for the ESV version, you're gonna have additional space in the third row. So Cadillac doesn't actually just give you more cargo space, they give you about another 1.5 inches of legroom. There's 36.7 inches of legroom. So this is with the seat all the way back. You can see at 5'7", I have a ton of space, a ton of foot space. My knees aren't even close to hitting this, as you can see. You do have third row air vents back here, and there's also like a little carve out portion here. So there is additional headroom space, more of that suede Alcantara that carries over back here. There is a nice leather padded area here where my elbows would rest, which is nice. You have a USB-C charging port, you have cup holders, additional storage as well. And then you can see, because the vehicle is so wide, you can easily fit 3 wider framed people here across in the actual third row. Moving over here, you can see tons of space, the same, nice materials. There's a decent view because of the windows back here, which allows, people like myself to get, comfortable back here. And in terms of, the visibility and just the seat comfort, I'm really happy to see that Cadillac is including basically the same premium leather. But if you guys are looking for like a heated third row, this is where I'm noticing this car is lacking that. Although, if you get the executive rear seat package, I'll have to double check to see if that also includes heated third row. I'm not entirely sure, but overall, as you can see, the ultimate family vehicle can carry basically a ton of people and also can carry a ton of stuff, and this third row is definitely adult friendly. Now, with just over 41,000 units sold in America last year, the Cadillac Escalade is quite literally the best-selling large body-on-frame luxury SUV that you can buy here in America. It literally outsells most of its rivals by as much as 3-to-1, 2-to-1 compared to its main rival, the Lincoln Navigator. So obviously the changes that Cadillac made here are strategic, and they also have pretty much addressed a lot of the concerns of the pre-refresh model. I haven't had a chance to drive this vehicle yet. I'm hoping I can do so sometime early next year. But as you guys saw, the exterior styling changes, that's obviously going to be a personal preference. I do like the front fascia with the new Escalade IQ front end. The interior, however, is a big upgrade. And you guys remember, I was a big fan of the pre-refresh Escalade's interior, although the center screen on that model was starting to look a little bit dated. This is definitely a huge improvement, but I'm looking forward to spending a full week with one to see how the software compares to the also equally new 48-inch display in the Lincoln Navigator and Lincoln Nautilus. The second row has a ton of space. The third row has a ton of space. The ESV version literally is the ultimate family vehicle because you can carry 7 people and their stuff in one vehicle, and that's the whole reason why you go for the ESV and getting that additional length. Now, in terms of the pricing and availability, the new 2025 Escalade V is available to order now at your local dealership, and Cadillac already has the build site available on their website. Pricing for this, the regular Escalade starts at just under $90,000, around $89,500. Of course, that's for a 2-wheel drive, short wheelbase version of the Escalade. However, if you guys want the V version, this is going to cost you a pretty penny because the old V for 2024 started at just under $150,000. The new 2025 model, Cadillac has increased the price by a whopping $12,000. Now, I will say that they gave you a ton of additional standard equipment and technology, so that additional increase of 12 grand seems justified. So at a base price of around $161,490, this is definitely an expensive proposition, but it also is a very unique one because remember, this thing has almost 700 horsepower. It has all-wheel drive standard, it has an exhaust that'll literally scare the pants off of your neighbors every time you start this vehicle up. Now, in terms of pricing for this model, there aren't really too many options to add on this one, although it's missing that executive rear seat package that I mentioned. It's also missing like a Black Raven package. So this model here with the color upcharge and destination checks in at around $166,215. I know nearly 170 grand for this model is certainly a lot of money, but I have to say, with the level of technology, refinement, luxury, and features and speed, this is definitely a car that's going to go down in history as being kind of like a collector's car. And even though it doesn't have the handling capabilities of like a BMW X5M on the track, it certainly will be a great vehicle if you guys need to basically haul your track toy and tow it. And that's precisely why Cadillac continues to offer vehicles like the CT4V Blackwing and the CT5V Blackwing. So I'll be looking forward to getting a hold of this vehicle and driving one sometime later, either later this year or early next year. But until then, I hope you guys have enjoyed my very detailed overview on this 2025 Cadillac Escalade V and the longer ESV form. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook. And as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.